It's WrestleMania season, ladies and gentlemen, so it's time for a WrestleMania movie special. Hey, it's me, AP, and welcome to the Saturday Movie Show. I hope you're all having a lovely Saturday. I'm so excited this weekend because it is WrestleMania weekend, and I thought, let's do a special episode today. It seemed like a very unnewsworthy week in the movies, so let's do something special. So I'm a big wrestling fan. Huge wrestling fan, ladies and gents. And I thought, I know there's definitely more people in this movie community here that are wrestling fans as well. So let's celebrate wrestling and movies together in one special episode. So I'm going to be discussing WrestleMania today. I'm going to be discussing movies related to wrestlers, wrestlers who are featured in movies, all wrestling talk and movie talk. It's going to be a fun episode, and I hope you're gonna stay tuned for the whole episode where we have a fun time discussing wrestling. So, what have I been up to this week? It's been, it's been a nice week here. Nice week, first of all. It's a nice sunny day here in the UK. We were scheduled snow earlier on in the week, and it's just sort of like flipped on its head. It's been a bit cold, but it's went a bit sunny. So that's my weather report for the week, as always. But yeah, it's been a nice week. I feel energized. I feel energized today. I think it is because of wrestling this week. As I said, wrestling just something I've always enjoyed, and something it just really, even as an adult now, I still get super excited when I watch wrestling, and I really do enjoy watching wrestling. I'm a big wrestling fan. So let's talk about what's going down. So, what am I looking forward to this year at WrestleMania? And let me give you the card. I've got the card here on my phone. I'm just going to get it out there quickly, ladies and gents. So this year, WrestleMania 37 is on tonight, Saturday, and tomorrow, Sunday. It is, you can get live on like the WWE Network. I'll be honest, I don't stay up for it. I've tried staying up previous years, but I do struggle with late nights, and especially with working and stuff as well. It's just too much for me. So I will watch it on a replay tomorrow. I can't do the live stream. It's just too much for me. But I will be watching it tomorrow morning, the first night, and then obviously on Monday morning, the second night of WrestleMania. But it is a 2-night card like last year. Normally, WrestleManias have been like one night only, but with the pandemic last year, they decided to go 2 nights. It's weird to think that last year's WrestleMania was completely behind closed doors. It was in an empty arena, and I'm gonna have to watch that back one day and just see how weird it looks. I recently had a copy. I had like an old wrestling show. I was just watching what I had recorded, and I just watched it back to see what it was like, and it was one from when they did the shows in the empty arenas. And it's just staggering how much of a difference it is when you just have that, and even if you have a few members of the crowd in there. I know now they've got like that Thunderdome, so they've got the digital, all the virtual faces there from fans. But this year they're going to have, over the 2 nights, each night they're going to have about 25,000 fans in the stadium that it's playing at. And that is just going to be a significant improvement for me. I did not enjoy wrestling as with no fans. To me, it's like any sport. Football, I've sort of grown with football to enjoy the crowd noise, but it's still not as good with you need the crowd. You need a crowd. The crowd has the energy, and especially in wrestling, it's very much, it's like theatre, but it's like live theatre. If you're in the audience at a wrestling show, you're just as much as part of the match as the actual wrestlers, because you can impact the match with your cheers, your boos. It's such a big difference. So it's going to be nice to see that WWE has fans in the crowd this year over the 2 nights, even though it's not as big as it would be in a normal year, but it's better than having no fans, in my opinion. And as long as it's all safe as well. I mean, it's a big stadium. These NFL stadium, I think it's in an NFL stadium. These stadiums are huge. They're bigger than our football stadiums here in the UK. Each one is like 100,000 people in. So 25,000 is only 25% capacity. That is pretty good. That's pretty decent. So I'm If it's done safely, I think I'm all for it. Let's look at the card this year anyway, first of all, before we go any further. So let's start off with night one. Night one, April 10th, night one. It's going to start with Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, and that is going to be for the WWE Championship. First match of the night to kick it off. They're not doing a pre-show this year, apparently, so this is why they had like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown this week. And so they're having no pre-show. They wanted the first match in front of fans to be like a big match and it to be on the main show. So this is why they're not doing a pre-show this year. So Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. First of all, let's run through all the card. Next up, we have Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. Then we got the New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos for the tag team titles, Raw tag team titles. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Then we have the women's tag team turmoil match. Lana, Naomi versus Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, the Riot Squad, Natalia and Tamina and Carmella and what's her name? I can't even think of her name. The Australian one. I've missed it off here. Then the one who was in the Iconics. I can't remember her name. Doesn't matter anyway. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair that will be the headline match of night one for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And then we've got night two, April 11th, so this is Sunday. Kicking that show off will be Asuka versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. Then we're going to have a singles match between The Fiend with Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. Then we got Big E versus Apollo Crews in a Nigerian drum fight match. Whoa, that is going to be something new, I'm sure. Yeah. It's just going to be a no DQ match, I imagine. Then we've got Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with Logan Paul. Matt Riddle now versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the winner of the tag team turmoil match from the night before, and Roman Reigns. We got Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan for the triple threat for the WWE Universal Championship. I'm just seeing that there's an the Big E and Apollo Crews match. That's for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm trying to think who was the champ then. It's Big E, isn't it? So he's the champ. And Roman Reigns is the champ in the Universal Championship main event. So that is the main event, Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Edge and Daniel Bryan. So they're the cards. I suppose, which night am I looking forward to the most? What do I think of this card? I think wrestling now in WWE is starting to change, and it's starting to maybe move forward with newer stars, and I think that's a good thing. And I think that pivotal point with WWE was WrestleMania last year with The Undertaker doing his last match, or his so-called last match anyway, in the graveyard, the Boneyard match versus AJ Styles. I really enjoyed that match last year, but I feel like, I'm a big fan of The Undertaker. And first of all, I'll just say I've got my WCW, the World Heavyweight Championship here. I've got Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He will be like a co-host with Titus O'Neil. And I got Stone Cold Steve Austin here on the left-hand side. I got my wrestling fix. I've got more of them, but I thought I'd put these two. I thought these are my big players in the wrestling fix. What do I think? WWE now is starting to... It feels like when The Undertaker retired and he announced he was retiring, it felt like this year, they've built stars a bit more. And when I talk about building stars, I think like stars like Drew McIntyre, he has been a big star that has been built from the Royal Rumble last year to up to this WrestleMania. He beat Brock Lesnar last year. He's in the main event this year. He's been a big star. I feel like he is definitely the future of this WWE moving forward. And we've got, Roman Reigns this year has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed the head of the table, his heel alter ego, his bad guy turned into the villain this year. And with Paul Heyman, he has been fantastic on SmackDown. They've sort of like combined it as well then with a few veterans coming in as well, like you have Edge and Daniel Bryan there, and they've sort of had the happy medium of both. But I feel like they're building stars now, and I think they are doing it better. I do think they need more stars, definitely. You've got Bianca Belair. She's coming up. Hopefully she'll win the women's championship this year. Rhea Ripley, again, another one. So they are starting to build more stars on the women and men's side of things. So hopefully over the next 2 to 3 years, we'll see a lot of these like Rhea Ripley's, Bianca Belairs, Drew McIntyre's really become like their main event headliners who people outside of wrestling recognize as well. And that's my hopes for wrestling. I don't think wrestling's ever going to be as big as like the Attitude Era back in the 90s. That was just a magic time for wrestling fans, myself included, watching it as a kid. But look, it's getting better. I feel like it's good with the competition of the rival company AEW now, and that's good. So, what am I looking forward to here now? So, I think night one is the standout one for me, because I'm really looking forward to Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business MVP and Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. I know they've broke up that group now, that faction, but that group has been amazing this year. It's been phenomenal. I've really enjoyed it. And Bobby Lashley feels like a big deal now. He's got like a brand new entrance music. He's got like this cool entrance video that accompanies him to the ring with like this thunder striking down at the Titantron. And Drew McIntyre, again, he's just a big time deal for me now. He's a British guy. That's a big one as well. But he reminds me of like a good guy version of Triple H in his prime in like the early 2000s. He's got that feel. He's just a complete like a badass. He's just got that same feel as like a Triple H in the early 2000s to me. So I really enjoy Drew McIntyre. I think his turnaround from what he has done over like the past 10 years has been great. And Bobby Lashley, he's turned out to be a great big heel this year, and I've really enjoyed what they've done with Lashley. So for me, the standout would be night one because of that match solely. I am looking forward to night two. One match I thought I would be more excited for, but I'm not really that excited for this year, is The Fiend versus Randy Orton. I'm not looking forward to it because even though they've built it up for months, but it feels like they brought The Fiend back in this like burnt version of The Fiend, and I don't feel like he's as impactful as like the Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt. And I know, don't get me wrong, I love that they're continuing stories and sort of like redeveloping stories and making stories expanded out more. And I understand that is so important with storytelling, because for me, wrestling is not like not just a sport. It's not just it's more like it is like live theatre. You know, it's got that comic book feel to it, wrestling, because you can have like the mystic, like the weird spiritual sort of like dark side versus the good side. You can have like figures like the Undertaker who are like sort of these godlike wrestling figures who can shoot lightning down to the ring, and there's these like over the top storylines, over the top backstories. Like the Fiend is this monster, and then he's got like this alter ego who's like this children's entertainer gimmick. And that was the original Fiend. And it's just, that's what I like about wrestling. It can be so bizarre, like in a comic book, and that's why it's sort of like, for me, why I'm doing the WrestleMania movie specials today is because it combines so much with movies, and they sort of cross the line so well. And I think more movie fans, comic book fans, if they give wrestling a try now, they would really get into it, because there's so much similarities to movies, and especially like comic book superhero movies. There's definitely a big common thread there. But yeah, The Fiend versus Randy Orton though this year, I don't feel as hyped for that. I'm hoping it's gonna change my mind on the night, and maybe it's gonna be something spectacular. I'm just not that hyped for that one. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks on night one. Look, I'm not a big SmackDown fan. I've sort of like went off things with SmackDown more recently. I'll tell you why I'm going to be totally honest here. The reason why I've went off SmackDown is I've never been a big Edge fan. I liked him when he was with Edge and Christian back in like the early days, but I never really got into Edge as like a main eventer. I feel like he was I think he's cool. I think he's a cool guy. I really enjoyed his Royal Rumble return, but I've never really enjoyed him as a main event guy, Edge, and it's not that I don't think he is that level. Maybe he just doesn't, in my mind, he's sort of like more of like an upper mid carder. He doesn't feel, yeah, maybe he isn't just a main event for me. And I get he has been a main eventer and he's done that job well. But for me, he is not like that upper level of main event guys. I just could never get in. And I suppose that was a time when I started turning off wrestling and started to. I mean, there was a few years where I didn't watch wrestling, and when he was like the rated R superstar, they were the years when I wasn't watching. So I wasn't sort of bought into the whole Edge as a main eventer, and I weren't into it then. So for me, his return was ace. It was brilliant, but I'm not all in on Edge being like world champion, him being a main event guy. I do think he's a good promo. I think he's a good wrestler. Just doesn't do it for me. I suppose that everyone's got the wrestlers who they like and dislike. I mean, look at it this way. I didn't enjoy Roman Reigns half as much until he turned heel with this head of the table gimmick. And he has been one part of SmackDown I have really enjoyed watching. And I've watched like highlights, and I say I've stopped watching it. It's probably I've only stopped watching SmackDown the past couple of weeks, maybe past couple of months. But his head of the table gimmick with Jey Uso, Paul Heyman, has been amazing. I've been really enjoying that. It's been fantastic to watch. So I mean, that is one thing that would pull me into that match. But Edge doesn't sort of like, that's not the pull for me. It's more Roman Reigns, really. And Daniel Bryan's just in there. He's just like poked his head into that match. But yeah, let's see other matches. The Big E versus Apollo Crews. I'm looking forward to that. I like a no DQ match. I imagine that's where it's going to be. Night 1, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. Look, I get the use of celebrities. I know why they do it. I'll be honest, I don't have a clue who Bad Bunny is. I know he's some music star, and he's sung that Booker T song, but I've never heard of him. I'm not really up on modern music. I'm a bit of a dinosaur. So, I don't know. I know they've used celebrities, and they're using another celebrity in this pay-per-view. For me, it just doesn't do it. It's just because I've got no attachment to Bad Bunny. I don't really know who he is. He's just a name to me. So I like Damian Priest. The Miz and Morrison have went a bit stale on me. I used to think they were entertaining, but I feel like they've been overused this year, especially The Miz. John Morrison is a fantastic athlete, and Miz is a great promo, but I feel like they've just been pushed too hard this year, and I'm not really that keen on that match. The New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos on night 1. I'm looking forward to that because we're getting to see this big guy, Omos. He's a massive guy. He must be like 7 foot tall. And I'm looking forward to see what he can do in the ring. I expect he's going to be pretty like a beginner level, and I can't imagine he's going to do a whole lot of wrestling in this match, but it's just going to be fun to do. I think he'll win that match. Let me just give my predictions as well for the first couple of matches. You know, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. It's got to be Drew McIntyre for me. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest. It's going to be Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos. I would say AJ Styles and Omos for that match. Next up, we have Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. Again, not a match I'm really that fussed on. I feel like this has just been a forced feud to try and get a match. And it just seems a bit of a silly feud, really. It's just like Shane McMahon comes in out of nowhere and starts calling Braun Strowman stupid. And he was on SmackDown originally, if I'm right. And Braun Strowman comes back over, and it's just this feud out of nowhere where it just feels completely forced. So, and a steel cage match doesn't feel like a big match, really. What I would have preferred is a Hell in a Cell. That would have been, you have to top it. A steel cage is like a TV level gimmick match. If you're doing a pay-per-view at WrestleMania, it's got to be a Hell in a Cell. It's got to be. So that would have been my choice. But I think for that one, it's going to be Braun Strowman. I think Braun will overcome the big, bad corporate heel in Shane McMahon. Let's see. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. I've got to go with Seth Rollins for that. I feel like he's going to win it. I've not really watched much of that feud, so I can't really comment too much. Lana, the tag team turmoil match. I honestly couldn't pick it. Maybe the Riot Squad. That would be maybe my pick. Or no, Lana versus Naomi, because I know they've been hyped a lot more. So them for that match. And Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. It's got to be Bianca Belair. She won the Women's Royal Rumble. She's got to have a WrestleMania moment main event. It's got to. If they don't, they won't build stars. That is the only way they will not build stars if they don't give her the win. So she has got to win that match for me to give her that breakout opportunity to become a big star in WWE. It'd be a shame if she didn't win a match because she is a really good talent. She's a really talented competitor and really good on the mic as well. So I like her. So let's move over to night 2 and my predictions and what I think on it. So Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Start the show. I'm looking forward to this one. I like Asuka. I think she's a good wrestler. I like her more now. I think when she was in that tag team, I can't remember what the tag team name was. I didn't enjoy her, but I've enjoyed her a lot more recently. And Rhea Ripley, I really like Rhea Ripley. I think she was awesome in getting tongue twisted in NXT, and I think that's going to be an awesome match, especially as the opener for that match. So Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. I feel like Rhea Ripley was in the main event last year. She won the Royal... No, hang on. She didn't win the Royal Rumble last year, but she was in the main event versus Charlotte Flair, and she lost to Charlotte for the NXT Women's title. And it feels like she should have had a WrestleMania moment last year, but then the pandemic happened. So now, this year, it's a proper WrestleMania. She's going in as heel, as the bad person, as the bad character. And I feel like Rhea Ripley, though, needs that WrestleMania moment. But with her being a heel, I was initially going to say Rhea Ripley, but I don't know. Maybe, yeah, if she wins it, though, that would be a good thing for the women's wrestling on Raw, because you've got this big heel then moving into the new year, because Asuka has not really done much with that title. She's not been given good feuds. Even this feud has been very much just like thrown in there for the WrestleMania show. But Rhea Ripley and Asuka could have a good feud coming out of WrestleMania. So I would definitely put the belt on Rhea Ripley, give her the championship, and move forward with a really cool feud between them over the next couple of months. I think it would be great for the women's division. Moving forward, I said The Fiend versus Randy Orton. I'm not massive on this match, but maybe it'll change my mind when I watch it. It's just a normal wrestling match by the sounds of it so far. We're not getting like a Firefly Funhouse match like last year, which was phenomenal. I really enjoyed that match versus John Cena and The Fiend. And look, it's got to be The Fiend wins in this match, because the story has been The Fiend was killed off by Randy Orton. He was burnt alive. He comes back. He defeats the big villain that is Randy Orton. And that would be my prediction for that. Big E versus Apollo Crews in the Nigerian drum fight match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Let me just say, Apollo Crews, his gimmick now, he's got a gimmick finally. He's a fantastic athlete. For years, he has shown he's a fantastic athlete, but he's not been given any gimmick. His gimmick, it was just, there was nothing there. There was no story. There was like small pushes over the years, but he was never given that full push. So it's going to be nice to see him. I'm hoping that Apollo Crews wins the Intercontinental Championship from Big E, and their feud continues after, or maybe Apollo feuds with someone else. But I feel like Apollo deserves the push here. He's got this character now. I know you could say the same about Big E. He needs a push, but maybe Big E is lined up for bigger things. Maybe after WrestleMania, he goes for the Universal Championship. That's my hopes anyway, because I feel like Big E has paid his dues. He needs to be pushed higher up the card now, because he is definitely a main event talent. He's got the charisma. He's got the wrestling ability. He's got the size. He looks like a major player. So I would definitely have Apollo Crews win that match. Right, so Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with Logan Paul in Sami Zayn's corner. This is, again, one of these celebrity matches. I don't know much about the Logan Paul and Jake Paul brothers, but what I've seen of them online, they seem like a bunch of idiots. They seem like just childish. They've been given fame too early, too much money, and they just seem like idiots in my opinion. And when I didn't watch the SmackDown with them, but I've seen like bits and bobs of it. But I'm just not into it. I don't know why. I know why. I know why they include people like this, influencers like this. It's because they get more views on the product, because people who like watching Logan Paul's blog, YouTube channel, will go and watch WrestleMania then. I understand it from a business point of view, but as a wrestling fan, I cannot stand them sort of bringing these characters in, these people like Logan Paul, I just feel like they really diminish what the product is. You got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, two awesome wrestlers there. You don't need Logan Paul to make their match any better. They could have a fantastic match. Logan Paul is just going to be, if anything, I'm going to be watching the screen thinking, why is this guy on screen? He's a fool. He's an absolute fool. He doesn't do anything. He's just someone who got lucky on you. Well, I don't know his past. I don't know his past on YouTube. Maybe he worked hard. I don't know his upbringings. It's just not for me. Look, I'm not going to say any more than that. It's just not for me. He's not a guy I am into. And in regards to WrestleMania, I don't feel like he should be there. It's just a waste of space, people like this, for me. If anything, if it was someone like good, like if they're going to have a celebrity, like maybe someone like a Vin Diesel. If it was like a Vin Diesel, I'd be like, yeah, this is cool because I can relate to someone like that. I enjoy Vin Diesel. But maybe that's just an age thing. Maybe that's just me not liking, not buying into and not having any interest in Logan Paul. Maybe maybe some people who like Logan Paul feel completely different to me, and that's fine. That's fine. It's just my opinion. I just don't. It's not for me. But I think for this match, it's got to be Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has got to win. I think Logan Paul's going to have some interference where he messes up for Sami Zayn. I think that'll be the way this goes. Next up, Riddle versus Sheamus. Sheamus and Riddle. Sheamus in particular, he has had a fantastic year this year. I felt like his career might have been over with injuries and stuff, and it would have been a shame, but he's come back over the past year or so, and he's really been built up well. And this year, his feuds with Drew McIntyre, with like matches with Keith Lee, they've been amazing. I've really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying this feud with Riddle as well. Riddle's another one. He's starting to get pushed a bit more recently. I like Riddle. I think he's cool. He reminds me of Rob Van Dam. He's got that feel of like a Rob Van Dam. I like Rob Van Dam. He's awesome. So this is going to be a good match. And if anyone's not watched Sheamus's YouTube channel on exercise, he does like a fitness channel. Check it out. It's fantastic. Celtic Warrior workouts, fantastic. I feel like Riddle's going to regain the title. It's got to be Riddle, because the Riddle's getting pushed at the moment. I think it would be a shame if he lost the title at WrestleMania. So Riddle's got to win the title back. For me, Nia Jax then versus Shayna Baszler versus the winner of the Tag Team Turmoil. I'm predicting that Lana and Naomi win that match on night 1, and they go to night 2, and then they win the titles versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the women's tag team titles. Last but not least, Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Who gets the WrestleMania last headline moment? Does Edge get his fairy tale win? Does Daniel Bryan win back the title? Or does Roman Reigns? Now, I don't think, first of all, it's going to be Daniel Bryan. I feel like he's been just sort of thrown in this match so he can get a moment. So Daniel Bryan is out for me. Edge, Roman Reigns. Who's it going to be? It's got to be Roman Reigns. He has been phenomenal all year. Sure, Edge won Royal Rumble, but I don't feel like I think he's doing part-time wrestling at the moment anyway, so if you put the belt on him, he's going to end up losing it at the next pay-per-view, and it's just seemed pointless. If you want him to just have that moment, but you would have had that moment when he was a babyface. They've turned him heel over the past couple of weeks, so why have a heel have that moment? It makes more sense to me to have Roman Reigns just regain the title and sort of like just make that year whole and signify how good Roman Reigns has been, and that he is the head of the table. He's the man on top. He's the main guy in WWE. So Roman Reigns would be the winner for me. I would like Roman Reigns to win because I think he's awesome. And they are my predictions of the show. But yeah, look, it's not your normal WrestleMania, but I'm still looking forward to it. All the same. I think it's going to be exciting. I feel like the 2 nights is a bit too much. I do feel like 1 night would be more special on WrestleMania, because 2 nights you sort of like, it's just, I feel like you get a bit fatigued, because we've had this past week with NXT. It's been 2 night takeover, and I feel like 1 night would have been enough. And I think it sometimes diminishes the spectacle of it being this superb 1 night thing. But it is what it is. And look, either way, it's WrestleMania season. I'm going to be definitely watching it. It's going to be exciting. Sorry, I just need to grab a drink. It's really warm. I'm looking forward to it. It's WrestleMania. As a wrestling fan, how can I not get excited for WrestleMania? So let's just move forward and let's just discuss let's discuss movies and wrestling now. Let's move forward because it is a movie WrestleMania, a movie special. So who on the card, first of all, would I say is going to be like the next Rock? And that's a question I thought I'd put to myself today. And I look at this card now, right? The only one you can really say is like Roman Reigns, can't you? You look at the out of these stars, who is going to be next one? Roman Reigns has featured in like the Hobbs and Shaw movies, the cousin of The Rock. I feel like he is probably the only one on the card at the moment to maybe move into that Hollywood role in the future. But equally, I don't feel like Roman Reigns is a Rock. I don't think he is anywhere near as charismatic as The Rock. John Cena is another one. He's moved forward into Hollywood now with like the Suicide Squad. He looks like he's going to be a major star in the next couple of years. But even him, I don't feel like John Cena is going to be on the level of a Rock. I feel like Rock is just on his own in this like Arnold Schwarzenegger level of acting ability. He's really come onto his own, The Rock. So, but if anyone could do it, I feel like Roman Reigns might be like a next standout star that moves into Hollywood eventually. I think that's a lot of people would put the bets on that. I don't feel like there's anyone else on the roster who would leave wrestling to move into acting at the moment. There's no one, in my opinion, there. So he would definitely do it for me. Yeah, in the wrestling come movie world, it'd be awesome to watch on screen. But let's see. Now I want to discuss is best wrestlers or best wrestling wrestlers featured in movies, or best movies that feature wrestlers. That's the one. I was getting tongue twisted. So first of all, I got to start with Fast 5, the Fast and Furious franchise, the one that introduced The Rock into the franchise. That movie is a standout movie. It's probably in my top 10 of movies. That it is such a great movie. The heist in Brazil, it is phenomenal. The Rock as Hobbs, he is great in that franchise, and I've enjoyed him since. That is a role that has really made him the big deal he is now as well. I feel like that movie. Next up again, another Rock movie, Dwayne Johnson, the Jumanji franchise with The Rock. I know they've done 2 now so far. I've enjoyed both of them. I thought they've both been really good. Totally different from what the original Jumanji was. Well, it's been fun just seeing more Jumanji movies. It's been cool. And I enjoyed the first one more than the second one, but they've both been standout good movies. You know what I mean? Really good, fun movies, family movies to watch at home. And I hope they do more. I know they're planning a third one, so that'd be cool to watch. The third one I want to discuss is Predator. And who does it star? It stars Jesse the Body Ventura. And, you know, he's in that group who go into the jungle with Arnold. Predator, I know he's not like the main star in it, but it still features a wrestler. I love that movie. Predator is a great movie. I like Predator 2 as well. I've not really watched any of the other spin-offs. I think I've seen Alien vs. Predator, but like the first Predator movie is just unbeatable. It is a fantastic like a war sci-fi movie. It's great to watch. I love Arnold's my guy. He's my guy, Arnold. I love Arnold, especially like 80s, 90s Arnold. 80s was awesome. I think that came out as well. I'm sure that was 1987. I might be wrong, because I remember doing the Masters of the Universe video the other week, and I'm sure the Predator movie with Arnold come out in 1987. I'm sure it came out the same year with Masters of the Universe and RoboCop. I'm sure I'm right on that. I'll have to fact check that, but I'm sure that's right. But it made a ton of money. It made a ton of money because people loved Arnold at the time, and they loved that movie. It was a great movie. The next one I want to discuss is, well, 2 more. Suicide Squad 2, The Suicide Squad. I'm looking forward to watching that with John Cena in. Again, he's starting to get that traction in Hollywood now. He's starting to get more roles. He's looking like he's going to be a big star. Maybe not as big as The Rock, but he's looking good. And I like John Cena. I like the movies he's been in so far. I think this is going to be his big movie, though. It's going to be his big standout. Bumblebee was like getting there, maybe, but now Suicide Squad, he's got a big role in it in a comic book movie. I think this is going to be a big one for him. and I'm looking forward to that movie. Comes out this year on theatrical and HBO Max, same day release. And the last one I want to talk about is one I've not watched in years, and I can't really recall a movie, but I recall enjoying it as a kid, and it's one I'm now going to have to watch this week to just see what it's like. Suburban Commando with Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan stars as this sort of like alien who comes to Earth, and it's got Christopher Lloyd in from Back to the Future. I remember it being a really good movie, and I was researching it this morning, and it said the movie was originally intended for Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in them roles, but they decided to do twins instead, which is just a bizarre fact. I'm going to check it out again, but I remember it being really enjoyable. If you've seen the movie, let me know. If you watched that as a kid or you watched it recently, what are your thoughts on Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan? With this guy here, the Hulkster. What you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do if you don't watch my movie, Suburban Commando, brother? I just butchered that. I butchered the Hulk Hogan impression. Right, anyway, let's move to housekeeping. This week, what have I been up to? I've been doing working on some of the comics for the Patreon comics. I've not done a webcomic episode on here for a while. I do like these webcomics online. The fun now I do 3 a month rather than 4, so it's every last Monday of the month I do a Patreon movie podcast. I feel like I'm now slowly doing less and less of comics, and I feel like it's going to be more podcasts on the Patreon bonus content and maybe special videos. But I still enjoy doing the comics. They're fun to do. I've done a ton of them this week, so I've sort of got a few months worth of them. But I do enjoy doing the podcasts, like doing late ones like this. Today's been fun to do this. It's been really enjoyable. But I've been working on them this week and just planning out further content, further how to make this channel better for the community. The subscribers over the past couple of months has just been continuously going up. The views have been going up, which it's been ace. But you know what? It wouldn't happen if you didn't watch it, use at home. And I do appreciate, I see like regular commenters on the videos now, and it's nice to feel like we've got this little community going. It is really cool, and I thank you so much for that. It's so much. I don't earn any money from this, from doing these YouTube videos. I do it as a pleasure, as a hobby. I enjoy it. It's so much fun to do, and I wouldn't not do it anymore. I'd do it for another 10 years, 20 years for free. It doesn't bother me. I don't earn money. I just enjoy it, and I enjoy interacting with people within the movie community and physical media community as well. It's so cool. So thank you very much as always. That's housekeeping out of the way. What have I been watching this week? I've not really watched that many films. This week feels like it's went really quick. But because there's been loads of wrestling on, I've been watching loads of wrestling this week. So I've been watching like the NXT pay-per-views and stuff like that. So I've not really had time to watch many movies. Last night I watched The Falcon and Winter Soldier. I really enjoyed the recent episode. It was really good. I don't want to go into it this week because I feel like this week is a WrestleMania movie special. But the other thing I watched last night, and I'm like an hour into it now, is Doctor Strangelove with Peter Sellers. And it's been something in my movie watch list for a while. As always, recommend movies. They always go in the movie watch list. I always say it, if anyone recommends a TV show or a movie, I will put it in my list of recommended TV shows and movies to watch. But movies, I'm really working through that list. Doctor Strangelove has been something in the list that I wanted to watch for a while, so I finally got around to watching like 50 minutes of it last night. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm going to finish that later on today before I get into like WrestleMania mood tomorrow. So that has been fun. It's so far what I've watched of it. It's a fun movie. I'm not really a big fan on black and white movies and like classic movies. There's only certain ones like Casablanca. I'm a big fan of Casablanca, but I need to watch more. I've never watched Citizen Kane. That's another one in my list I want to watch this year. And this one, Doctor Strangelove, everyone said it's like the best comedy movie of all time, and I thought I'd give it a watch because I like Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther movie. I've seen that first Pink Panther. That is really funny. Well worth the watch if you've never seen it. But he's a really funny guy, Peter Sellers. So starting to watch that. It looks like a fun movie so far, what I've watched. So I will watch the rest of that. But anyway, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the WrestleMania and movie special today. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please do give this video a like and check out the rest of my movie-related videos. I'm a movie fan. I'm also a wrestling fan as well. I enjoy wrestling. I've enjoyed talking about wrestling today. If you enjoy it, let me know your thoughts on today's show. Let me know your predictions for WrestleMania. Do you think it's going to be the best WrestleMania? Are you not fussed on this card? Do you not think it's the best card ever? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know all your WrestleMania thoughts. What is your most favourite WrestleMania moment? And let me just say one more thing before I go. Right. Are we tonight going to see the return of the man, Becky Lynch? Will Becky Lynch return? She is speculated, rumoured to be returning tonight at WrestleMania over either night 1 or night 2. She is rumoured, heavily rumoured. I would personally like to see the man return. I love Becky Lynch. She's awesome. I think she's just a standout character. She's phenomenal. Magnificent superstar. I think the man gimmick is awesome as well. So I really want to see her return tonight, but do you think she will return? How will she return? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you very much as always for watching this video today, and I'll see you next time.